Hi everybody, this is just a personal video to my subscribers, just to say thank you for your support. Here in the workshop today, got the old fire light, so it's nice and warm. Anyway, I thought I'd tell you about the various experiences I've had with the new layout and Google Plus and so forth. It's given me a hell of a headache. I've had all sorts of problems, and quite frankly I've given up. I'm no longer going to fight the system. I wasn't brought up with this sort of technology. There's a guy even more ignorant on the matters than me, and he calls it .com bollocks. I'm sorry about the language, but it sums it up for me. I'm just not going to fight the system. It's not worth it to me. It's not worth it to me. I can make videos. I'm making one now, very easy. And I shall continue to make videos, and while I can, I shall continue to post them on YouTube. But if they change something that doesn't allow me to, or whatever, well, nothing I can do about that. I'm not a technophobe. I embrace modern technology. But I just wasn't, this doesn't feature in my life, this sort of touchy-feely, oh dear, the things that most of you find so easy, and I suspect you're probably the younger generation, but you say, oh, it's great, I've got this on my iPhone, pad, whatever, I don't know, it doesn't feature in my life, and I don't know why they had to mess things up as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I can see your comments, but for some reason I can't answer to them. I can put a comment in where it says share your thoughts, where the comments are on YouTube, and I can click on reply and a box will open up and I can put in some text. But the little send highlight, or the send box, isn't highlighted, so presumably this goes through Google Plus, but that's, oh, it's unbelievable. It's, for me, that what you find so simple. As I say, I can put my hands to most things, but this is absolutely a no-no. So, how I'm going to reply to comments, I haven't a clue. Perhaps like this. I don't know. Please don't tell me to click on this, go there, do that, do the other thing. I've been there, done that, and I just don't want to know. I don't want to know. So sorry about that. Anyway, so if you've asked a question and you haven't got a reply, you know why. It's I'm just stupid when it comes to computers and all this sort of thing. Oh well. Right. Let's change the subject. Well, the Gremlins are still at work. I had a look at statistics this morning on YouTube, and it's gone from 2,500 to 3,000 views to 0 on the graph. Zilch, nothing. Well, I know that's not the case because the numbers on the individual videos are increasing all the time, and I've had correspondence, so there's a gremlin there. Anyway, I said we'd change the subject. Gremlins! Haha! Do you remember my backup to the switch on Doris? Doris has been occupying my my time the last 2 or 3 weeks, and to the exclusion of everything else. I've got lots to do. I've got storm damage to fix, fences to put up, and so forth. But anyway, so it's Christmas and I'm putting my feet up. But anyway, I went down to the boat the other day and I've got a pressure switch. Not this one, this is a replacement. And I heard this noise on the boat. I
took me a little while to sort of find out what it was. And it was the bilge pump running. But it was only slightly running. It was trying to run, and oh no, not another switch gone up the Swanee. Anyway, it transpired that it was this. I thought this was foolproof. And it's been working fine for several weeks. Anyway, I put a meter across the switch that's operated by a diaphragm, and lo and behold, there's some resistance reading there. It wasn't as short as it should have been, and it wasn't open circuit. There was just a few hundred ohms. Hence the poor old pump trying to half go. Anyway, I took this out. I thought I'll investigate why, and I turned this upside down, and water ran out of this. How it got in there, I don't know. It's only rainwater under the floorboards. There's little tiny holes all over the shop here. And I think what must have happened is water has got this side of the diaphragm and possibly onto the switch contacts, but oh well. More gremlins. Just quickly, I've finished the stove. That's ready to go back in the boat. I've made a lid. Nice heavy thing. It'll stay put, and the kettle can sit on there quite nicely. So that's all ready to go back in. Still with gremlins. That's a festoon bulb. Comes off of the NAB Light, starboard NAB Light. It's 12 volt 5 watt, but it's got a dimple in the end, and it's fractionally longer than the normal festoon bulbs, of which I have hundreds, because I did various demonstrations of aerial currents using them. But why they had to make something special just because it's a marine light, I don't know. So we're going to change that, because we're not paying 3 or 4 quid for a bulb. Okay then, well, just quickly back to this Google Plus nonsense. There's no way I want to set up another site, social site, whatever you call them. I'm not into the Twitters or Facebooks or any of that nonsense. I'm quite happy with YouTube as is. So if you try and communicate with me via that mode, I've shut down all my profiles, circles, squares, all that crap. That's the only word I can use. Oh, all the adverts and hoops you got to jump through. Yeah, I know a lot of you like it, but I don't. Okay, so that's pretty much been shut down, but I need it in order to access the YouTube and comments and so forth. I see that private messages are still the same. They end up in inbox, well, not your inbox, but in your private messages. So there's a means of making contact, but I shall just carry on the way I am. Anyway, that's the story so far. Right, as far as Google Plus is concerned, that's it, finished. I want no more discussion on that. Made my views very, very clear. I think it's the biggest mistake Google have ever made, and I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. Okay, a little update on the pressure switch. This might be interesting to you. Back to the washing machine pressure switches. I wrongly assumed that they were nothing more than a diaphragm which operated a micro switch, but they're actually a little bit better made than that, and capable of carrying more current than I thought. Here I've taken one apart, and as you can see, it is indeed a diaphragm, a rubber diaphragm, but it operates a rather nice switch. See if I can show this close in. Oh yes, lovely. And that's very similar to a bimetal arrangement, but that's rather well made, and that's a 3-point pressure on the back of the diaphragm. So that's rather nice, but perhaps you can see all these little holes that allowed the water to get in there. So providing that we can keep water away from this, I can highly recommend them. There are many uses that could be put to, and you'll find this type of pressure switch in washing machines, dishwashers, all that type of domestic thing. They're usually of that sort of design. Some are very small. You want to look at the, does it say it on this one? No, it doesn't. Does it say it on that one? There's usually ratings of current carrying capacity, and sometimes they're a single throw two-way, so they can be used to switch things on or off. But they're basically designed that when the pressure of the water rises in the tub, it either turns the pump on or stops the solenoid of the water coming into the machine. And they're generally they're pretty fail-safe. The only thing that usually packs up is the hoses. If they perish, you can no longer get a pressure the right side of the diaphragm. Anyway, I've never actually pulled one apart before, but you might find that interesting. Sometimes you can come across an industrial type version. I don't know where I got these from. I got several. But if you look, it's got a very, very, very small air inlet, very small, which restricts the air coming in, or the speed the air coming in and going out. So there's a delay, a time delay, an atmospheric switch if you like, and I've made full use of this property. These are some industrial jobbies I've picked up from time to time. It's a solenoid operating a switch, but this too works with a diaphragm, and the diaphragm is in here. And the advantage of this particular unit is you can adjust how quickly the air goes in and comes out. So it's also a timing device. It's a mechanical timing device. I like mechanical things rather than electronics. I use the same principle. I use one of those on my largest spot welder, and it is this operation. There's that time delay which I can adjust for the spot duration. Anyhow, I've shown that before, I'm sure. Okay, let's move on. On the subject of Doris, where I've replaced the packing gland stern tube arrangement. There was the greaser was a grease gun permanently attached to the fitting, which I didn't particularly like. Laid in the bilges. Well, I just didn't like that. So temporarily I've fitted a grease nipple, just silver soldered a grease nipple, which has its own valve of course, and although it's steel, they're always covered with grease, so it shouldn't rust too much. Anyway, this is a temporary arrangement. It's my intention to build a nice little brass greaser for the stern tube, and as soon as I can find suitable materials, we'll get the lathe into operation and we'll make one. That might make an interesting project, but it's waiting to find the right materials to turn up. Other items I've found in the workshop you may be interested in. This is a frequency meter. As you can see, it's averaged around 50. That's the frequency of the mains in the United Kingdom. I think in the US and other places it's 60 or whatever. Anyway, you would assume that this is pretty constant, but it isn't. But the generating companies monitor this, and it's bound to fluctuate somewhat. But in view of lots of motors which are synchronous, such as in electric clocks, just as an example, they have a master, and they slightly monitor the frequency and adjust it from time to time, either speeding it up or slowing it down, in order to maintain correct time and other functions of machinery. And I've been monitoring this, and I've got a few plotter readouts which I might attempt to explain on a future video. I've got boxes of all this sorts of stuff. When I kick the bucket, my poor good lady is going to have to employ some pretty big skips and scrap dealers to take it all away, because nobody else is going to want it. Well, they haven't up to now, otherwise why would they throw it all away? I suppose it's old hat. Still, I'm old hat. Don't worry about it. However, sometimes I wonder what I'm going to do with some of this stuff. This is a 3000 volt, 600 amp meter. What am I going to do with that? But I just can't bring myself to throw it away. It's just collecting dust in the workshop. Oh well, it'll fill a skip up, no doubt. There's a 13 amp fuse. I've got packets of those. Well, they're quite handy. They're used throughout the house. But there's a bigger one. I don't know why I'm keeping that, but if you think that's big. What do you think about that, Granddaddy? Ooh! Now that's what I call a fuse. Well, what would it cost to manufacture something like that? I don't know what it carries, but I can't bend that cable. No way! So we're looking at hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of amps. This is sort of power station stuff. Now that's an interesting project.